Shiver me timbers. Live. Hopefully we can do it correctly. Is it gonna work? Yes. Yes. It worked. It worked. What up, Skidoo? 20 minutes ago. Ah, howdy, howdy, howdy. You know who I want to get back on here? I was gonna actually email Lake Speed.
Dude, that'll
We
be
need to
so
get
good.
we need to get him on the whole crew.
Have
When
you
the
seen
whole
his
crew.
any of his videos lately?
I have. That's why I wanted to get him
The
back on
the
here.
one with the 40 weight, where he's talking about
Mhm.
weights of oil, that was so good.
Where'd you go? You're floating. We can't see you no more. What up,
Me?
Jeremy? Yeah, you're like faded away. You faded into the mist like you're wearing a ghillie suit. CP's
I'm a
garage,
little
Puffy Whiffy, and DS Trucks. We're here. We are we're skeleton crew. Everybody's got some vacay. We got some Zeeksters. The new threads. We're loving them, brother. Thank you again. King Rancher, what up, my friend? What up? Three handshakes, dude. Hello. So getting to the title, you guys see what not to do to your Super Duty. We see a lot of wishy-washy shit, man. Some of this stuff shouldn't even be on these trucks. Some is crappy parts, some crappy installation, faulty installation. Guy should have just kept being a meat counter slicer guy and not a front end suspension ball joint installer kind of guy. Well, I mean that stuff happens. So, what do you not do to your Super Duty? I think one of my big things is actually a truck I was working on today. It makes it really, what up, dude, Dad? Makes it a real pain in the ding dong when you have to lift these things up because where we put the front hoist arms, well, I do, right on the radius arms. And when they come in with different radius arms and they're like at an angle like this, it's just a real pain in the butt to set the hoist arm because you only have so many extensions. The dude's got running boards, and sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. But I'm an expert at what not to do. Well, I think all of us are kind of like that.
when you say that,
Duh.
the thing that comes to mind is that F450 that you worked on recently, the gray
Uh
one.
oh, F four
Did you have
fifty.
did you have to lift that one or no?
That I did not, but I laid down underneath when I was doing that video. I was like, man, I would hate to lift this thing up. They had those
Yeah,
trailing
because
arms.
those radius arms, were they like fabricated or what was going on there?
I mean, it was just a kit. What was it? PMF suspension in the rear,
But
and
that
then
that truck, you said it rolled real good.
it did. It really did.
450s usually don't ride particularly good as far as hitting bumps.
I think I called you out in the video. I said, I wonder, you should have took a ride with that. I should have had you come down the shop and check
It
that
would have
out.
been, yeah, it would have been cool to
Because it had those
ride.
giant tires, those giant wheels. Not giant, but I mean big wheels. And you wouldn't have thought that it would have ever like that. What up, Brian? Man, I put a 6.7 serpentine belt on and that thing was fighting the entire time. The trick when you're doing them belts is get it around the tensioner in the first go around. Make the first loop, make it go around the tensioner. And then ever since you do that, if you can get that, yeah, it makes it so much better. Don't keep it stock, mod everything. Yes, but what do you not mod? Goodness.
SPE disaster prevention kit.
I just recently took one of those off because they didn't know they didn't want to be in the disaster prevention business. They wanted to have no disasters. So we took those disasters that could happen. Took that nasty CP4 out and put a beautiful looking DCR. And yeah, those kits are no longer needed. So it was a part the customer did not want back. So another thing that kind of is a deal breaker for me. DS brought up the 450 with the bigger wheels. See, he's got his right there. They don't stick out that far. I mean, he's got the fender flares there. But when you get these trucks, like Cliff said, the SEMA trucks, I mean, yeah, they look sweet, just sitting there. But I'm not gonna spend 100 G's on a Super Duty and then get these huge offset wheels, and then I don't know, the big tires sticking out. I just can't. I
Do
can't
you
do it.
feel those tires are hard on the hub bearings in the front?
Just screaming. Why did you put these on?
Yeah,
Like
those offset wheels and tires, they kill wheel bearings.
not in the
Hmm.
rear though, right? Just the front.
Well, I can't imagine it's gonna be any good for the rear.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the rear either.
Sometimes when it's real extreme, I just look at it and be like, how do you feel comfortable towing? Do you feel that some rims are better than others, but I feel like some of them they look okay, but you might break it. You might
Mm,
break the rim if you max out the towing.
A
yeah.
lot of those guys don't tow, though.
Yeah, that's a problem for me. I tow.
That's like
Justin.
seeing a 250 squatted. I can't stand that.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
gosh.
what a waste of a truck.
I like the subtle touch though. Like I like a stock rim with a little more meat on the tire, maybe a 35-inch tire on a stock rim on like a 250, 350.
I
can
like the
dig that.
style of wheels that your 450 have on it, the Akoas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John Dazinski's got a break-in question. I am putting a brand new 6.7 into the truck due to the glow plug tip snapping off number 7. Damn. Is there a break-in period, and what does it consist of to be done? I think you can't tow. Well, I mean, when you buy a brand new 6.7, I mean, there doesn't. Well, actually, I think there is some propaganda. If you're getting a FQR, a Ford Quality Reman, a little pamphlet booklet will come in there. I believe one is for the customer and one is for the technician, saying, it doesn't come with oil, check the bell housing bolts, make sure they're tightened or engine damage can occur. And then they got a bunch of stats like the deuce initials it for revving it up to 10,000 RPM and then shutting the key off and the oil pressure reads. So I'm just joking, he doesn't do that. It's just I think that information's in there. So unless you're doing an aftermarket one, I don't know. I think the new ones you can't tow for 500 miles or something when you get the new trucks. They don't tow.
So you're talking about a new truck, not necessarily a new engine. Like you get a brand new truck and they tell you don't tow for the first 1,000. I think a lot of the break-in stuff comes from the old days where they used to have like a break-in on the cylinder walls before you really get normal operation. Like you have oil consumption and smoke and all kinds of stuff because the piston. I think the machining now on these engines, even if you got a reman, standard procedure on any decent machine shop is going to have a finish on the crosshatch pattern that requires very minimum break-in.
Most of the 6.7s are already ran in anyways.
Yeah. So I don't think
like the 3.0 6.7s, they come with oil. They're full of oil already.
Oh yeah.
And they're full of soot in the exhaust. And they have diesel in the fuel system.
the 6.7s or
yeah, they
3,
do, don't
3
they?
liters.
Well, even the 6.7s, because you'll take those lines off if you got to break down the engine to put something in, or like if you can't take the cab off, well, you end up popping a fuel line off. Like, oh, what's that red fuel in Hawk? What is this? What?
Right? Why is there red fuel in here?
They probably run every motor.
Well, yeah.
Before they send it out.
I mean, that's the only way they could get those oil pressure readings.
I don't think you have to worry about the break-in like you did in the old days as far as breaking in the piston rings and the cylinder walls, and I think all that stuff's already finished.
He says my new engine is with oil. New with oil. Barefoot Billy up here says I think DS is actually running that the Valvoline Premium Blue. Did you
Nope,
run
no.
that?
No, I never ran that.
I thought you ran the Valvoline.
I
No,
ran the Rotella.
no. I'm thinking the blue PAO. What was it? Diamond Blue or Blue Diamond? What the
Blue
hot shots?
Diamond. Is it called Blue Diamond?
That's I don't know. I can't remember. There's
Green
something on
Diamond?
there.
I
Something.
don't know. I just know it's called PAO.
Ooh, Zeekster said he's had 2 windshields broke by guys with wide ass tires. Ooh, you better put some mud flaps on that boy.
I'd like to keep my rim style and have like a 22 maybe, and like a light truck tire instead of a commercial tire, maybe.
I've
Check
had-
this out.
I've had 3 windshields this year. I haven't even replaced the last one.
Oh, yep, seen that, done that. I mean, not done that, but have seen that. Mm-hmm. Gotta love that RTV. RTV. I just changed my oil at 137,000, and it's making a typewriter take noise worse than it ever has before.
Did you pre-fill the filter or no?
I feel that that typewriter noise it's a characteristic of the sound, but I think using different oils, um, engines are less maybe prone to me making the noise. I do a lot of oil changes at the shop, and we have um
Amazon oil.
bulk AMSOIL, 10W30 max diesel, and I can't really say. Now we just did an oil change today. We started up. I mean I don't recall hearing any typewriter noise, but I was running when I was at the dealer, I didn't have the AMSOIL stuff, so I was running the Motorcraft stuff, and I mean, I remember my truck ticking. I don't know what oil you were using, but definitely, definitely worth it. Saw a guy here in Florida with a dually. Mm, 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 mm.
I got a little
Yeah.
typewriter tick when I had Rotella for a little while, and then it went away.
I changed my oil and fuel filters at 5K. Oil, okay, okay. It may be overkill. I may extend the fuel filters to 10K. That's exactly what I do. 5 on the oil, 10 on the fuel, and just for I mean, simplicity for one, the big fire situation. What not to do, this is probably one of the biggest things to do, is get that shitty ass plastic filter from out underneath the hood and get you a nice. There's a whole variety of manufacturers that make this upper fuel filter not plastic and spin on. We've been using HSM. We got a few videos for the different year trucks. The filters are great. The kits are really nice. It makes changing the fuel filters 5 minutes. And you know, when you take the cartridge one down in the Alumiduties, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna be draining out a half a gallon, 5 gallons later, and my bucket's overfilled. Get you a 5 gallon pickle bucket, put that right underneath the filter for just in case. Because when I change mine, I don't have but maybe two drops of diesel fuel come out. So it makes it that much easier, especially when you're on the road, or a lot of these RV guys and overlanders. They need to do their maintenance, but they're not going to a facility, so they're going to be doing this on the side of the road or at their campsite or wherever they're in the middle of the woods. So simplicity, functionality, and it looks good. So it's uh one of the one of the I guess top five things I should say you should be doing to your truck. 540 HD modern day dad says he uses the AMSOIL. I don't know what your mileage is with the 540, but have you given the 1030 a try? Because I just had a confirmed kill with just that. Guy lives good, I'd say maybe just under 100 miles away. And he came to see me and he's consistently ran 5W40 in his 6.7 2020. And we came for oil change, used our 1030, and he says that his fuel mileage went up. Like, really? So I wonder, not only is the 540, and even DS, he'll go back and forth on this, but the 540, specifically says for severe duty, if you have 6.7, should be doing, using that oil. But, I feel that I would agree with the 540 switch to 1030 and adjusting the fuel mileage because I ran 040 when I had first got the truck and then ran 540 for, I don't know, a couple oil changes and then just stuck with 1030, the Motorcraft, and then the AMSOIL full synthetic. So I wonder pay attention if you did change, if your mileage would go up.
I haven't noticed the difference between 540 and 530.
In
I
my
haven't-
opinion, you can never over maintain a vehicle, but you can always under maintain. Ain't that the truth?
I haven't
Or if
noticed
you-
anything with the
if
Range
you-
Rover between
If
the
you change
530 and
your if
540.
you change your oil like every other day, that'd be over maintenance.
How many quarts does that thing take, Cody?
6.3
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
is
Is it
actually
the
less
same
than the
filter?
F-150.
Is it the same filter as the F-150? It doesn't tell you to take any Land Rover specific oil like the F-150 says use
It
F-150 oil.
wants you to use the Land Rover 5W dumbass for it.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'm using 540 Shell Rotella because I'm not buying Land Rover oil.
One of the things we've been kind of going back and forth with these 6.7s is oil capacity and how every single time a new one comes out, I know when the 20s came out, it was saying 13 quarts, but it really holds 14. And then when the high output came out and the new next level one, they increased the capacity again, but it always holds that extra quart. But with the Lake Speed video, he brought up that topic of windage. As the oil level was higher, it sucked more power from the engine because it brought the level closer to the rotating assembly. I wonder if there's any reason to actually just run what the manufacturer recommends instead of bringing that level higher. Did you see
Well,
that video Lake Speed made?
I mean,
I
if
think I
it's
saw
not on
that
the
one.
stick, it's not what the manufacturer wanted it.
It's on the stick, but it doesn't it might just be in the operating range. It doesn't reach the full mark. Like a lot of guys want it to be at the full tick mark.
Land Rover says to put it in the middle, so I put it in the middle.
Ford, it kind of lands in the middle.
And that's
If
where it
you
needs to
do,
be.
I put
yeah.
mine at the top. Before we put the PPE oil pan on, if I were to let my truck, okay, you get to work, I had another hoist or just did it on the ground. I let my oil drain while I was working on other shit for 4 or 5 hours. Truck takes 13. I would wind up actually putting 14 quarts in it. So now that you got the PPE oil pan, it adds one more quart. Still let it drain. Why not? If I got nothing to do 2 things while I'm doing one, get all the oil out, right? Fuck it. Well, I might as well wind up putting 15 quarts in it. So it'll actually be the HO capacity, just like DS back here with the silver 23. Like I said, it's just at 1030.
Well,
At 1030.
basically, if you haven't seen it, it was interesting because he was comparing 540. It might have been thicker than that. I don't remember exactly. One was at least like a 40 weight, and then the other one was like a 20 weight. And you would think the 20 weight was just way more efficient, but when that 20 weight got hot, it caused power loss because of windage, he said. Because it was like the rotating assembly was somehow all that velocity was causing the oil to be able to splash into the rotating assembly somehow. Whereas the thicker oil didn't do that, didn't have the windage. You know, they have that windage tray in the bottom of the motor.
Yep.
It's very interesting. But now I'm thinking, do I want to put all that oil in the engine and have it at the full mark, or do I want it to be at the halfway mark and just run the capacity that they tell you to run?
Well, I mean, just like Cody said, if it's supposed to be on the stick, it's supposed to be on the stick.
Supposed to be in that range on the stick.
Yeah, maybe that's the move. Maybe just run what they say to run, and if it's in the middle of the stick, that's good to go.
I don't even have a stick anymore.
Anybody know where they can get the hookup on Topo Chico's? 28938 28389 Beck Road, Suite J1, Wixon, Michigan. Send it our way. We want some pallets.
The Land
It was-
Rover doesn't even have a stick. It has a sensor in the pan.
For
Can a
real.
bad, insane clown posse cause high idle and hard shifts in a 2003 6.0? High idle? If it had a high idle because of a whacked out ICP, I would almost assume you're going to have a check engine light on because the IPR and ICP ain't going to be jiving.
That was a check engine light.
So I don't know. Oh no. Sorry. In the middle of answering somebody. That was important. My suggestions. Hard shifts. If I were to guess, I bet your turbo is stuck. And RPM is going high and high and high. And your high idle. Ooh. Dude, pull some codes. I bet you got some codes in there. BC Electric cleared the check engine and it is running fine. Oh, I just see that. Hey, them 03s, triple threat. High pressure pump, ICP sensor and connector, and an IPR. If it doesn't start, if your diesel doesn't start, rule of thumb, if you're driving your diesel and 2285, ooh, boy, better check them ICP sensor circuits. Bet you it's puking oil up to it, which I have a video for. So if you're interested in not burning your hands, watch how I do it. I forgot what I said. What did I say?
You said if they're not
I forgot what I started talking about.
You were talking about the 6 liter. Something about
I just saw the 2285 and everything just dropped. Turbo gauge getting stuck at 40 psi. Ooh, maybe. When do we get to RCD turbo video? Ooh, he's calling me out. Well, we're waiting to hear back from the customer. He's actually supposed to be coming back in next week. I think he was waiting to get one more thing, and then he said we could take it for a final ride because I know you guys probably want to hear it. So soon. I mean, we did start it up. It sounds pretty dope. But It's not finished. Ah, 6.0 van. Sorry. Hope it don't need injectors. Oh yes, I remember now. So triple threat. If you guys are driving your truck into the shop, be prepared to have up to $1,000 to spend. If you are interested in bringing your vehicle in and it has to be towed, it can't pull in by itself. It's DOA. You better have $1,000 to start with. So if you don't have $1,000 to commit with, tear down, especially with the 6.0, sometimes we have to tear some stuff down to do air leak tests. That can be a pain in the butt, but there's diagnostics, actual physical work that needs to be done to do some of these tests on these trucks. So try to tell these people, that was more for the old days, but now as we get with these more complicated stuff, we have more equipment, different scan tools, different programs, different software licenses that we have to buy in order to communicate on CAN circuits and talk to every module. So it's getting kind of, I don't want to work on these new trucks stuff. SNB all day long. The 224s and a 23, flawless. We have done a Titan. DS and I actually did a Titan. 99% of them have been the SNB. They are a very nice tank. You will absolutely get what you pay for.
You
I've
didn't
done-
enjoy the Titan.
I've done both Titan and S&B, and
Which
I'll
what do you
take
like
an S.
better?
I'll take an S&B over a Titan.
What I liked about the SMB is you could continue to use your skid shield if your truck has it. Some trucks don't have it, some trucks do. If you have the FX4, you'll have a skid shield. And it gives you the ability to use that with extra I don't know, spacer blocks that they give you. Slick, really nice. Program it.
Titan
works
had
great.
Titan, the install with the long bolts hanging. Wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah. Yep.
S&B is more factory looking. I'll take an S&B over a Titan any day.
Gosh, I should have calculated how many of those I've done or how many of those we've done. It
A
was a
ton.
lot of fuel, a lot of fuel tanks. Just
mean,
tank
yeah.
after tank after tank, and it's
was
a big deal
It
with
was
these
basically
guys
every
towing.
weekend we did a tank when I was up there.
Well, that was disaster prevention kit tank. Well, I just
At
did a disaster.
HSM.
I just did a disaster prevention kit yesterday for first time in months. It's just been DCR, 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 and it's I should also tally up how many trucks you guys bring in that have nests in the valley. You'd be surprised. Truck is clean, engine compartment looks nice and clean. I don't see no dust and greasy grime shit all over the place. Take all this stuff off. I'm like, well, what do we have here? Hey, yo, we got a nest. There can't be a nest. Are
So
you
what's the deal?
serious?
What's the deal with that?
Boom.
Like something goes in there, makes a mess. You start the engine, drive it, and it's dead.
Well, I think they would have crawled out because I don't usually find a carcass, but it's warm once the truck pulls up, to the house or whatever, and settles, there's no more disturbing. The truck is still warm for a good, hour, where them little critters will make a little home, be all nice in the valley,
Speaking of
dark, quiet.
speaking
Right,
of
there's
engine
never.
bays, that guy that we ghetto rigged his truck in the parking lot, the hose blew off.
In what?
And that Super Duty that we ghetto rigged his coolant hose.
Ooh.
Yeah, it blew off. So he's got to get a new hose.
I didn't get a rig, no hose.
Oh, I had a guy with it was what 18 or 19 with that crossover tube that always blows apart, the coolant ones on top. It was almost blown apart in the parking lot, so we pushed it back together and safety wired it, and when he got home he had coolant leaking.
Actually, Let me. Yeah.
Told him to get the Dorman hose because it's better. And you won't have to worry about it like the Ford hoses.
Thoughts on map sensor spacer? I actually just sent a text to one of the peeps who was doing just that. OJ McBaggins. Yeah. And I wonder if actually adding spacer is gonna help the carbon problem. Because those things do get carboned up. Tom Jubb, Mr. Hip Hop Barbecue. He is still awake, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I like wires. I found my rats, squirrels, cats, 18 years. Especially the ones that land on the belt. And then you go and start the truck. Gross. Through the fan, the radiator. No good. Is there some mint soap so I can foam the engine bay to keep mice out of a 6.4? Mint soap? I don't know. I thought people who were we talking about saying put an Irish Spring? Was that somebody at the shop? Who was talking about that? Putting getting
That doesn't really work.
no?
Who was that? Because I kind of
don't
remember
know.
that too.
Getting a cheese grater and grating some Irish Spring bar soap and then putting it in a container or a bag of some sort and then sticking that in the engine compartment somewhere, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Oh, King Ranch. That's a question for DS right there.
Shoot.
What do you recommend for moonroof seals? Ooh, the ones on the glass, that is taking its toll. Any suggesting on prolonging the life?
The
Yeah,
motorcraft.
well, I would probably. What's the motorcraft one?
The motorcraft sunroof and windows. Window goo.
Oh, you want me to go get it? Hold on.
What is that? I never seen that before.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, King Ranch, I found it for you. It is called Mini Vent Window Lube. The part number is XL10. Check it right there.
What is that?
Mini Vent Window Lubricant. And Cliff, don't smile. And then
Cliff? What now?
XL10 right there.
Cliff, what now?
Nothing. Oh, shoot. This thing's been leaking. I knew it fell on its side, but I didn't know it was
But I don't.
tight.
I don't actually
Damn
for my
it.
sunroofs. For my sunroofs, I don't use that. I use the one that was in that TSB when they were having the sunroof problems. You get it from Ford Rotunda. It's the Crytax. It has a little applicator, and it's like this little teeny tiny bottle. And they tell you to wipe the weather stripping off with isopropyl alcohol, and then put this Crytax stuff on it. And you literally put this stuff on like once a year, and some type of high performance weather strip conditioner that just lasts a long
High
time.
performance.
I don't know. It lasts a long time though. Like it won't be around for a while.
What up, James Duggan?
That's over here. I think it's on my shelf. Let's see.
Don't know. Question. Hello, Raptor 14. I like how he waves his hand. I have a 2015. I don't know if the trans was ever serviced. Have 110 on it. I was told by mechanic, don't do it now. It's too late. Is there any truth to that? Well, maybe if this was like, I don't know, early 2000s, maybe. But Well, I just did one today. It had 118,000 on a 14. And the fluid was a brownish red. It wasn't red and it wasn't black, but took the pan down and the magnet had very little material on it. And I'm a believer of doing a drain and fill, but I'm not going to use a machine. I just had one that did not go well. I guess I just have never liked the machine ever since that back in the early 2000s. But Rain Man Ray is a firm advocate for using a machine. He says it does a very good job. And I believe the last time I was there, I actually was in the middle. They were in the middle of doing one, and you could actually see the old fluid and then it changing color into the new fluid. So I don't know.
I've been a fan of drain and fills.
Drain and fills
Check-
all day for me,
check.
baby.
Check this stuff out. It's some type of high performance weather strip lubricant that Ford was recommending. And they were selling it at Ford Rotunda. And it gives you this little sponge thing that goes around. Let's see here. It's like a little applicator sponge that is perfect for the sunroof.
Oh,
And this stuff is, and it's for like any type of weather stripping. So if you got like noisy doors, you can like put a little bit. It's such a small amount, but it will literally last. It's leaking too, but I keep it in a Ziploc bag. It's kind of leaky, but it will quiet down like a noisy door weather strip. But I use it for the sunroof. Sometimes it's available on Amazon, but
hell yeah, big dog.
I think that you should I think it's never too late to change the filter. Because what's going to happen if you don't do it? Does
What
that
about
mean that the filter medium gets full? Eventually that filter medium in the transmission pan gets full. And once that happens, like, that's not good. It's get full of clutch material.
Skidoo says or asks, when should you change your transfer case fluid?
I'm
I
going to be
did.
doing mine every 25K.
I did just that today. Front diff, rear diff, transfer case. Although I already told you what the color of the trans fluid was. The transfer case, I wore it on my sleeve and my arm. It looked like what came out of the engine oil pan. It was dark. And I think a lot of guys forget that your transfer case is still spinning when you're driving. That fluid is still being used. It's not switching over and propelling the prop shaft. It has still to transfer that motion through the transfer case that's on the right side, because it's going through to the rear drive shaft. So when should you change it? It's another drain and fill. Do you do it every 30K when you do your trans? Do you do it sooner because it's just a drain and fill?
I'm
Well,
doing
it
every
depends.
25K front.
It depends on the application, because if you look in the book, they're going to have all their mileage recommendations. But then when you get into severe duty, they're just going to be like, figure it out. They're not going to say.
It's what, 2 quarts of fluid? I mean, like, what's 2 quarts of fluid? Every 25K.
Some people are really working it to the point where like they might even can do it every year or every other year or something like that. If you're really pushing it, working it.
Granted, the Land Rover, it's $100 for a liter of that stuff.
Dang. What does Super Duty take?
2 quarts.
Does it have its own? Does it have its own transfer case fluid, or does it take ATF?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it takes ATF, but it's
Isn't it
just a drain and
LV?
fill. Yeah, LV.
Is there any multiple disc clutches inside of it?
Mm, have you changed yours, A-Rod? Ooh, he's calling me out. I haven't. I need to.
I just changed all mine in the Land Rover before we took a trip. Front diff, rear diff, transfer case, transmission, engine oil. All the fluids got changed except for brakes.
Now, Cody, in mine with the limited slip in the rear, is that a different fluid?
I don't know what yours
75
is.
140.
75 140 with the friction modifier.
Now,
Oh, okay.
if
Wait,
he's got,
does it got
you
is there-
torsion?
Yeah, is it a more frequent interval because it's got a torsion?
I mean, you can do it whenever you want, but I'm gonna be doing mine at 25K.
Okay, I'm getting close. I'm at 22K, but hard 22K. So I should probably change it. Like a lot of towing, a lot of slipping and sliding too, having that torsion. Always grab it and lock it up.
the front diff is the one that gets me. I've never checked it. Well, the front diff's just kind of sitting there. It's only being used when you're 4x4. Rear end, now that's going to be different, Skidoo.
I mean,
If you're
it
towing all the
does
time.
spin while you're moving down the road.
The front diff fluid?
It will spin, yes, just from friction.
Well,
I
if the
thought
front
those-
axles aren't being engaged, then what would really be spinning?
Just the friction of the fluid going through will spin the drive shaft, which will spin the diff.
Oh,
F-150s, people don't check
F-150
this on. Listen, listen.
Hold on.
The people do not check their F-150s and they explode the front diffs.
oh,
On
really?
Steve's truck, I did a diff flush, transfer case, and transmission flush on it. His front diff was 30 times darker than the rear.
So
Wow.
It was
With the front-
nasty. Like I wouldn't even put it in the fuel tank of a truck. That's how nasty it was.
oh, that's nasty.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So with an F-150, they have the hubs disengage, but that drive shaft going from the transfer case is going to have a little bit of
It's gonna have a little bit of friction. And it'll
Little bit
still
of
turn
friction.
it. It's same
And
with the
that's-
Super Duty.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Okay. So if you were to mount a camera underneath the truck and have it in
You-
two-wheel drive, you would see that drive shaft.
You can
Going
see
to
the
the
drive
front?
shaft turn a little bit. Yes, it will
Yeah.
still
Oh.
turn just from friction. So yes, the front disc still needs changed.
So that front diff is always getting some turn from friction just from the drive shaft, not from the front wheels, because those are
Disconnected.
put in. Yeah,
I will
those are
say
disconnected.
9 times out of 10 when I'm doing diff changes, fluid, the front is way colder than the rear, without a doubt. But if you use a good fluid, and especially you guys changing out to the Banks rear diff cover, you got a freaking sight glass and a drain plug. Doesn't matter if it's M275 or the 10.5, both covers have a nice fill plug. And if you're using the bags from the Amsoil, it is so easy. Why wouldn't you change it?
On the F-150s, you can actually put the Dana diff cover on it, on that front one, and do drain and fills without having to pop the cover off them.
Yep. Oh yeah, somebody did said something about them taking the cover off.
But you got
I-
to take the rack out to get that big thing in there.
I have a new machine, a BG machine that doesn't use any product. It's just a sucker and a dispenser. And it has a small enough tube that I can sneak it past the differential gear and the housing and go all the way to the bottom. You know, you can see, against the metal, and it go to the bottom of the pig and suck it all out. So faux fitty roll call EMC crypto, who in the 113 watching, rep all the 450 owners in here. What you guys got? 450s? Let's hear them. We got one guy right here. Two of them. DS trucks. I like the 450s. That wide track, man.
Sometimes when we're out driving, there'll be a guy in a 450. He'll be like, we'll be waving at each other. We'll be like, "What up? There you are."
Andrew, replied to your comment up there, the one that you retracted. I said, watch my front end playlist and replace all of your loose and worn components. I guarantee you, you'll find your issue watching that video. 450. Love my Banks cover. Yeah, it's like that was a good ad. Aaron Park, he's here. I keep getting asked, where's the Viper? Where's that guy with the Viper? When we get back. What is? Say again, over?
I can't believe the Land Rover only takes a half a quart of fluid in the front diff.
A half a quart?
Half a quart.
Oh, snap.
It's only a quart in the rear. Yeah.
All right, here we go. What is one more thing you don't do your Super Duty? Are you one of those guys that get a capper? Are you guys one of them dudes that rolls around with a topper?
I love my cap.
Do you
Screw
get a
off.
cap? Are you guys a cap guy? Open bed guy? A tonneau guy? What are you?
I like the cap. It's
I like
very
that.
it's very useful.
Are you rolling the covered wagoned Super Duty? It's aluminum. And you can paint it whatever color you want. Cliff, you're a bad influence. I hope you get stuck in your mud. I could do a cap, maybe. Do you get one with windows? Do you get one that's all fiberglassed out? But then I
I
feel if you
just
get a
like it
cap,
to be open.
then you gotta get. I feel like if you get a cap, you gotta get carpet inside because you're gonna make it waterproof. Then if you get carpet, I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's cool if you know you're not gonna haul nothing ever like that. Like if you just put stuff in there, that's fine.
Wow, Daniel, fourth time I've blown my HSM hot side off. Really, even clean and Loctite the bowl clamps as you suggested.
Sounds like Roger.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you right now, uh, the pusher stuff we're putting on, these mother, they do not come out. You put it on your truck, and you cannot wiggle that pipe.
Did
That
did he try to put
man,
hairspray on it?
ask them.
I mean, hairspray works. I actually seen it work in real life on a Land Rover in Texas. So
Mm.
To
we
prevent it from blowing off.
we used hairspray on the coolant lines on the EGR delete on that Land Rover, and the coolant lines didn't blow off.
Wow.
Backflip style, okay. KYD had a cat, main reason to protect their bikes. That is true. That is true. And I guess, I mean, I'm not an outdoors dude. I suppose, if you had a cap and it had the carpet and it was waterproof and you had, you know, you could sleep in it. I mean, kind of fun, I guess. But I mean, that's not me. I'm not a
Caps
camper
were for
dude.
when you
So
were in high school and you filled them full of speakers.
I'm just
Oof.
always reaching over the rail and putting something in there.
Diamondback cover. I've seen a couple of them come in. Zoodad with the 450 check-in. Roll-up cover. No, the roll-up cover that 450 had, that was pretty slick. I've never seen one with the electric button and it just that was pretty slick. Flip-up style, I don't know. I never got the tri-fold or the backflip. I'm not them. Wasn't really into those. I've seen a lot of Diamondback comes in, but I've also seen a lot of caps come in. Would you camp in Power Stroke maintenance camp? Ooh, I got that. I would. That thing's pretty slick. I thought that was pretty slick. He says it's completely watertight. And that it has some. He didn't say urea. He said it's bedline material and something else, some other scientific term I can't remember. But yeah, totally. It looked really cool in there. How hard is it to rebuild a 6.7? I've been saving for a roller, but people still want 15K for almost a 10-year-old truck with a blown. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. 24 got grease issues. Yeah, they ain't got none, buddy. They took them things straight out. Also, would you
You know,
recommend
I heard a
pricing?
little noise the other day backing up my truck, got on my front end. Now you back up a trailer, you kind of go left to right to keep the trailer behind you. As I'm going left to right, every time it turn direction, I hear pop, pop, pop. I'm like, I can hear the front end. This truck has one season of snow plowing under it. The greasable ones, never, ever had an issue. I don't know though. I haven't looked to see. It's still driving straight, but I did hear it.
Is it blew out?
It was making a noise. So as I know. So making a noise out of the front end.
What are some tips to avoid breaking EGR pipe bolts from the manifold? Don't take the pipe off. But if you're taking that pipe off because you're taking that pipe off, then you're either going to break those bolts or you're not. And if you break them, because there's nothing really you're going to do, you're going to have to drill them. And the other way you're going to drill them is to properly use the Promex kit.
Can you
Sorry.
heat them up before you take them
Yeah.
off?
You
Only
got a
thing-
50-50 shot, man.
Only
Rip
thing you
'em.
can really do is soak them with PV Blaster or something for a while ahead of time. That's about all you can do, and pray for the best.
Why don't just using why not just use a heat? Does that not work?
No, it don't matter if they're hot or cold; they'll still break.
Yep. You could go drive it and get it hot and do it. Ain't happening. The only ways that I find the ones that aren't going to break are the 20 plus because they went
Increase
to
the size.
a way girthier bolt. It's not a news bulletin, a service bulletin. If you go back to the channel and click on my shorts, I made a short regarding this and shows you the bulletin that the dealer would have to look at for the part number and the part number for the vacuum line. I think it should be warranty. So go take it to your dealer.
If it's making noise, it's warranty. If it's not, then it's not warranty.
So Michael, you're going to your dealer and you're telling him it's making noise.
It says it right in the bulletin, actually.
I wonder if that bushing is messed up Andrew Spies. But
Do you
that
think
ball
they'll
joint could be messed
warranty?
up too.
You think they'll warranty my front end even though I got a plow on the truck, or they say no, you got to plow?
I mean, you're using it as the manufacturer designed it. They designed to put a plow on it.
Will they ask what plow? Because I'm over the weight limit with my plow.
For a new fan clutch. Sorry.
None of their business deals.
They're not gonna get. They're not. Yeah, it's not. That's not gonna have the plow on it when they get it.
Yeah, it's really not anything that they need to know. Yeah, you use a plow, big deal.
Only reason it's over the weight limit is because it's kind of a derated truck, but that axle in the front can hold the plow, and the front end can hold the plow. It's just you're derated down to 14,000 pounds on that. If anything, maybe the springs aren't up to that weight carrying in the front, but they want like they want to fall in the gross vehicle weight rating, and I don't think they can with the amount of ballast that they want for the rear.
Hey, thanks, Michael.
But it's 1,000 pounds on the front end, you know. It's then you got the diesel engine up front, so they really want you to use like a certain type of plow that's not that heavy.
When you sent that picture, you had the salter in there and the plow on and all your gear and stuff. Man, dude, that thing was sitting.
I didn't get a chance to film it much in the winter because I was so busy, like every time it snowed. But dang, what a sight would that be to have on camera, like that 450 dropping that stainless steel blade at that,
Loaded.
and the C rings are lit, and I'd be plowing with the 16-foot dump trailer with the skid steer in it because I'll pull up and open up a couple passes before I take the machine off. Oof. And then I unload that freaking machine and be like having the 450 plowing and the skid steer would be plowing. It was sweet. I just
Who
didn't
hates
take
the
no
snow?
videos.
Besides Skidoo, because he wants to go snowmobiling. I hate the snow.
I hate
I
the
mean,
snow. That's why I
I
live
hate
in
the
Florida.
snow.
we don't have that here. I don't know what you're talking about.
We just got sand.
Ah, yes, Alex. Excuse my animal crackers. I completely forgot. How often do you drain it?
Monthly.
Yeah, monthly is a good yo, Parker, man, my dude. My forklift dude. My bagel dude. My donut dude. My fiber dude. Yeah, do it every month. Remember, diesel fuel is hydroscopic, meaning it is like a magnet and will attract water from the atmosphere. So drain it. Sometimes you might see some, sometimes you might. You might not. You might not. And then you might get a water and fuel it. But if you're running an additive, what up, Mario Brothers? No, it's not. We don't like the snow. Run Arch Oil. Archoil.com. Use our code PTT. They have a trio that you'd probably be impressed with running. We run it in our vehicle, and I'm probably, I'd say at least 1.2 miles a gallon, a lot more. So definitely helps with keeping the regen window wider. You don't want to be regenerating every 200-300 miles. You want that 600, 700, 750, sometimes 8. I know Zoodad has a pretty good stats going between how long his regens go, especially having that eye dash from Banks up on your A-pillar, shouting info all down your throat.
We're about 450 on the Land Rover right now.
BC. Love snow. Brat. Love snow, hate salt. Hate both and hate driving in it. But I do find it funny when people from out of state get snow, like in Texas, and it's like like an eighth of an inch of snow, and the whole state is in a state of emergency, and nobody can go anywhere. And I'm like, what?
They don't have anything to combat snow, so
Arch Oil questions, let them rip. Yes, you're on time. Hello. I purchased a ton from Amsoil the past month and used the link you put. Any way to know that it worked? Actually, I think if I log into the dealer thing, it might say that, somebody used that link. I don't often log in, but maybe I should. Okay, 500 miles. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Definitely prolonging the regen window is the thing to do. Better than EDT, yes. And why I am finding better results both with mileage and the distance between regens with Arch Oil versus using EDT. So what up, Pat? Did you guys see Lake Speed's most recent video regarding pre-filling the filter? They did science and it showed it does make a difference. Ooh. that might be a topic for the next live
We're
stream.
gonna have to have Anthony Bearded Vortex on.
Yeah, man.
He just made a short and he changed the oil. And he said, I don't feel it. I never do.
Good idea, Mr. Pat. Which I hope your trimmer's doing good for you. I talk about you often when I'm talking about the mods we do to 24s. So for the next live stream and the diagnostics and the shenanigans, we're gonna wait until next week. Different locale. Hopefully, we will be on and ready for you guys to ask us questions about your power stroke. CP's Garage DST. Cliffy Whiffy, everybody watching, I appreciate you guys and the donations. Parker, we'll see you later, everybody. See.
Over and out.